Assalamu alaikum. Here we'll talk about the earth layers. We finished from the last unit. Now we will start in a new unit. We'll talk first about the earth layers, then we'll talk about the tectonic plates, then about earthquake, about volcano. So, inshallah, it will be more useful for us from the other lessons. Today we will not talk about anything new. Most of the information you know them. The three layers of the earth that are crust, mantle, and core. The outer core and the inner core. As what you know, this on the border, very thin. It looks very thin comparing to the mantle. This is the crust, then mantle, then the core, outer and inner core. Okay, now these layers, now the scientists divide the earth layers physically and chemically, depending on chemical composition and depending on the physical composition. The layers that we know, these layers are divided depending on the chemical composition. What make up every layer, like what we will see now. First of all, the outermost solid layer, which is the crust. Here, if we compare it to the other layers, it's very thin here. But if we take very big zooming on it, it will look like this. It can be divided into two parts: the continental and oceanic crust. Continental crust and oceanic crust. Continental crust, that is under the land, like here. It's thicker than the oceanic. Okay, here is this area that is light. This is the continental crust. This thin layer that is under the ocean is oceanic crust. Both types of the crust are made mostly of oxygen, silicon, and aluminum. We said these layers are divided depending on the chemical composition. So what is the chemical composition of the crust? Oxygen, silicon, and aluminum. But there is a difference. There is a difference between the continental and the oceanic. That the continental is less in density, while the oceanic is denser. Pay attention. I don't say thicker, I said denser. Denser means it has more mass comparing to its size. Yani comparing with its smaller size, it has a greater mass. Why? Because it contains almost twice as much iron and calcium and magnesium. So it has more iron and calcium and magnesium than the other one. Okay, so that's why it has a greater density. Now, the mantle is the second layer. As you see, it is located between the crust and the core. Between the crust and the core. It is a region of hot, slow-flowing solid rocks. These solid rocks, because they are very hot, they can flow slowly. Okay, the mantle contains also more magnesium and less aluminum and silicon than the crust. So it has also more magnesium but less aluminum and silicon than the crust. The convection. Now we said the mantle is made of hot, slow flowing solid rocks. They slowly flowing, but they flow, they move. This movement is controlled in a law or in a rule that is called convection. What is convection? Convection, I think you took it in grade 6 because I taught it to grade 6 in the last unit. So I hope that you remember it from grade 6. What is convection? It is the movement that takes place in fluids from higher density to lower density, from higher density to lower density, from up to down, up to down, up, down, down, up in a circular motion. So let's explain it here on the picture. Let's read first. It's a movement of matter or a fluid results from the difference in density caused by variations in temperature. Convection in the mantle cause cooler rock to sink and warmer rock to rise. How? Now, the difference in the temperature, for sure, when we become deep under the surface of the earth, the temperature rise up. The temperature becomes higher. Higher temperature, يعني more heat, that means less density. يعني we will have a greater volume. When the temperature increases, the volume increases. That means the density decrease. Okay, the density decrease. So what happens to the rocks that have less density? Less density, always remember, float up. Less density, float up. So what will happen to the rocks that have less density? They will flow up. Slowly, but they will flow up. طيب, up. The rocks that are on the top of the mantle, they have greater density. They become, comparing with the mantle down, the rocks here will be having greater density. Greater density, sink. Remember, very easy. Lower density, float, يعني rise up. Greater density, sink. It means sinks down. That's it. So we will have this convection, circular motion. Again, what is the convection? It is the movement of matter or fluid that results from differences in the density caused by variation in temperature. Convection in the mantle causes cooler rock to sink. Why cooler? Because the cooler will have higher density, and warmer rock to rise because warmer rock have less density. I will add this to the PowerPoint, inshallah. Finally, what are earth compositional layers? Here we will talk about the core. The core that is in the center of the earth, as you see here, outer core, then inner core. They think that the core is made mostly of the iron and some nickel, and this plays a big role in the magnetic effect of the earth. If you remember, we took it. The core is densest layer, يعني it has the greatest mass related to its volume and makes up about 1/3 of the earth mass. That's it. This is everything for today. Easy, nothing new. يعني إن شاء الله it will be very easy for you. See you tomorrow. Depend on the PowerPoint for studying. Thank you.